Hi, everyone. How are you? It's Virginia Stanley at the Library Love Fest team back with another episode of Door to Door. How are you?
Very well, thanks. And yourself?
Oh, hello, Kaite Stover. We are so thrilled. Chris Laney and I are so excited to have guest star Kaite Stover. Don't be shushing that. Kaite Stover, Director of Readers Services at the Kansas City Public Library. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us.
Thank you. It's a delight. It's a pleasure to be here always in the virtual Tiki Hut with Chris and Virginia and Lainey.
Yes.
I've always wanted to be in the Tiki Hut.
Listen, when the world gets right again, you'll come to New York and you'll come into the Tiki Hut with us. But until then, have yourself a virtual Mai Tai and...
Oh, I brought my Mai Tai.
Oh, really? Chris Laney, you want to say hi before we get started?
Hi. No. Don't want to say hi. No, I do. Hello, everyone. Super excited. Katie, thank you for joining us. This is new. This is fresh. This is something different. So I'm really excited.
All day.
Yeah.
Zoom fun.
What'd you say?
Zoom fun.
Zoom fun. So we have a limited amount of time with Katie because she has to run off. She has to turn around her chair once and look at her computer again, and then be a participant at Book Expo's Librarian Day today. So we can talk about that in a little bit because you have 3:00 is your panel at Book Expo. So we'll talk about that in a second. But so while we have you for a little bit, again, thank you for taking the time to hang and chat. So we want to talk about books because we know that everybody's going through this crazy time and physical books are like not a thing right now. And Chris and Lainey and I are still talking about books that are coming out in the future. But there's lots of books to talk about now. When we'll talk about that after you're done with your part. But we wanted to just sort of like, in addition to talking about books that you're loving, just sort of talk about, what this experience is like for you. What is this? How has this affected things? How has this affected, I don't know, your role, the role of patrons and getting books and ebooks and digital audio is the thing now. So I turn it to you.
Well, digital audio is one of my bailiwicks. I have been listening to audio since audio came on those little tapes, and then it got into those round things, and now I'm always listening to audio, and I'm always looking for something good to recommend to somebody. So I've seen an increase in folks asking me what's good to listen to. And they're not just asking me for audiobooks, fiction or nonfiction. They're also asking me for things to listen to that maybe take their minds away from the terrible times we're living in right now. So I've been recommending podcasts, and I've been recommending music. And I have a Spotify playlist that is on my work from home playlist. And I listen to, Your Favorite Coffee Shop every morning when I sit down in my office, and then the cats jump on my office chair, and then my coworkers see this tail wagging in the background. So I'm listening to I'm listening to music, and I'm listening to my podcasts. I'm still catching up with the news via audio. It seems to be a little easier for me to absorb it when it's not in my face all the time on my computer screen, or I'm not seeing it on, I know that the news is showing up on Twitter and Facebook, but it's easier for me to ingest when it's audio. So people ask me what I'm listening to, and I tell them first about the audiobooks that I'm listening to, and that I'm listening a lot while I walk. Because we all have to get out and get our exercise, work from home. It's like, the Frosh 15, it's the work from home 25 if you're over 25. I don't know about the rest of the world. So I'm seeing a big increase in how am I spending my time? What am I reading? What am I listening to? What am I watching? And people aren't just talking about these things because they really want to know what's the librarian doing to keep her time filled. They're asking because these are safe, entertaining, great ways for us to connect with the strangers you meet while you're walking 6 feet apart, or the folks I'm running into online when we do live chat with the library, people that I'm in Zoom meetings with for the first time. These are really great icebreakers. These are the best icebreakers right now, because so many folks have found an increase in time now to devote to their listening, to their reading, to their watching. So my TBR, TBL, TBW piles have just grown exponentially. That's a good thing. It's a bad thing. I realized, well, there's a lot of stuff I missed while I was at the office, and then I look at the list and think, oh God, I'll never, they could quarantine me till I'm 85 and I still wouldn't have time to watch everything. But what I'm seeing from our patrons is that they are turning to their libraries so much more for different content. So I've been walking a lot of my book group ladies who insist on print. So after I show them how to use Zoom, then I'm showing them how to use Hoopla and Libby, and then they're really excited when they come back to our Zoom book club meeting, and I got in just fine, and they were using the password, and they all know how to use the chat now, and they all feel really hip and with it and able to talk to their grandkids and their kids and actually give advice. So it's been a lot of fun to see my readers adopt these new technologies, whereas before I couldn't exactly sell them on an ebook, and now they're like, no, I got this, and they're recommending books to each other when I get them together. So that's great too, watching them change with the times and change in a positive way, trying new formats and trying new books and listens and watches. So
That's refreshing to know. I mean, we've, as I say, we've been, finding out about the rise in popularity, and how people, even if ebooks isn't their jam, it's becoming their jam, right? They don't have much of a choice. So, I mean, they're sort of, when you don't have much of a choice, it's amazing how you can really sort of, wrap your brain around something.
And I had book group members for whom that it's not so much that it wasn't a choice, or not an option, that was not their preference.
Yeah.
And so I took this time thinking, I don't want to lose connection with my book group members. I don't want them to feel as if their library is not listening or aware. I want them to keep using us. They just need to use us differently. But I also knew where their concerns were. So I walked them through how to use Zoom. I did 2 or 3 just personal, we will walk through it. Call me on my phone, and we'll take pictures, and we will get you through this, because I don't want to miss seeing you at our monthly book group meetings. If we can help that, if there's a way to get you signed in, we will do that.
Yeah.
So I would take the time to do. Now I have profound appreciation for those for the Geek Squad and all the phone stuff they do, especially for my mom, because it was like doing tech support on the phone with my mom.
Yeah. That's
those guys are saints.
So what's it looking like for you guys? I mean, what's the latest? Where are you at? I mean, everybody seems to be in the various stages of, curbside pickup or something.
Mm-hmm.
Where are you guys at? Do you know yet?
So KCPL, we launched our pop-in, pickup, pop-out service last Tuesday. And so it's been a week today. And we have 5 of our locations open from 10 to 2 for your pop-in pickup service. It's not curbside. So depending on which location you can pick up your holds at, the patrons come to the library, they call the number that is posted right outside the location door, and they let the folks know who answered the phone, I'm here to pick up my holds. And they supply their library card number, and then the staff say, okay, we're pulling your holds, they're checked out for you, come in really quick, and they're on the table right there by the front door. And so our security personnel, who are wonderful and warm and kind and so generous with their time, they're so careful with the patrons and the staff. they're making sure that everyone comes in one at a time. They pick up their holds and they pop out, and then we're waving to our patrons from from
Yeah.
across the library, like, hi, great to see you. But that's been very successful, and we're going to be expanding it. It was so successful that we had to add Saturday this past
Wow.
Saturday. And so we're adding Saturdays, and we're going to be expanding it starting the second week of June.
That's fantastic.
And it's pop in pickup. I mean, we're just going to expand that. I know that Johnson County Library started their drive-through service today, so check in with Greg Windsor about that. And I know that Lawrence Public Library, they started their curbside delivery. Check in with Polly Ken about that, and they started a week ago. So they're brave.
It's very heartening, though, as you say, like you wave to them across the, it's really for people, to see each other, to connect again on any level. It's just, it just says so much about, I think, the overall need to connect and to see each other, and just that, I don't know, human connection.
That's what the library is. The library is where folks were connecting, and folks are now realizing how valuable those connections are that we made for our patrons. And I know I keep using my book groups, but I know that that my Downtowners book group, they were all strangers so many years ago, and now they're friends, and now they check in with each other, and they check in with others, and they took what they learned about how to do Zoom and proper Zoom etiquette to their families and to their own work meetings. So it's great to keep connecting with them.
Yeah.
Even the ones who don't have the technology, I make sure I phone the one person that has no technology in her home, just that she stays with us. But that's what libraries do. We're all about keeping the connections going.
Well, you're a wonderful person. You really are.
Katie, speaking of which, Maureen Roberts asked, do customers have to place holds online only, or is phoning in the request possible? Is that something you can do?
What a great question, because I just came from a meeting today where we are trying to figure out how we will do call up place holds for folks who can't place holds online. So right now, that's how we've been handling our holds, but we are about to explore how do we offer phone hold service for folks who don't have the data or the bandwidth or can't use a computer. So you'll be able to call the library, and we'll be able to place a hold for you, tell you which of the locations you have a choice from, and then you go there during the pop-in pickup time. So today there's plans. Things are, if you can't see the gerbil steam in my brain, this is what I'm going to be thinking about this evening, is how to make this work.
That's great. Yeah, this is wonderful. It's great sharing information with each other. That was Maureen Roberts from Baltimore County. And Jane Jorgensen, what did she say? We've started a remote phone reference / hold placing service where staff are answering from home. So.
Cool, Jane. I'll be calling you.
There you go. That's wonderful. About 15 minutes before you have to skedaddle, and we want to get to some books. What are you loving? What are you reading, Kaite Stover?
Oh gosh. So on Saturday, I started listening to Shakespeare for Squirrels by Christopher Moore, because I love I love Christopher Moore anyway, but I love this series he's doing with Pocket the Fool. And folks, this is hilarious in print, but you have to listen to it because Ewan Morton does the narration, and he is marvelous. And ever since I heard Ewan Morton read Sacre Bleu by Christopher Moore, I've just like, anything that man wants to read, including his grocery list, his Instacart list, I will listen to him read that. But he is the voice for Pocket the Fool in Moore's Shakespeare series, and he's hilarious. So I started listening to that on Saturday, and my husband couldn't get my attention for anything because I was just walking around the house, moving furniture and hanging things and listening to Shakespeare for Squirrels. It's hilarious. So think of bawdy comic Shakespeare, even the tragedies. So the King Lear is the first one Moore starts off with, and then Serpent of Venice, which is a comic dark take on Merchant of Venice. And then this one is a really hilarious noir bent of Midsummer Night's Dream. So all I can tell you at the beginning is that who killed Puck? And our erstwhile detective fool, Pocket, is looking for the killer and asking all the right noirish, jaded detective questions in a really snarky sense of humor. So this will just take your mind away, this book. I'm loving Shakespeare for Squirrels. I am also halfway through Hench by Natalie Walschots. Natalia put that up. Yeah, Natalie Zena Walschots. I'm loving this book a lot. This is about those characters in superhero movies that you never think of, the henchmen, the assistants, the sidekicks. And so far, if you're a hench, then you kind of work for the dark side. And this book opens up with a temp hench, and she lands a really great temp job with an arch villain, and then he does something stupid. The apartment building blows up at a press briefing, and that's because all the good guys come in and they don't really think about the damage they're incurring while they're saving everybody. So the hench puts together a spreadsheet of collateral damage. And when you realize how much collateral damage the good guys can cause while they're saving lives, it's crazy. Hours lost, businesses closed, glass windows broken. So now our henchwoman, why am I drawing a blank on her first name? Because I haven't picked it up in 2 days. Now she's working for like the king of the bad villains, and all she wants to do is take down every good guy, hero, heroine, all the good guys. She just wants to take them down because she's so angry at the injuries she suffered while she was working as a henchwoman. So I'm having a lot of fun with that.
I love Hench.
Oh, did you finish it, Lainey?
It's our lead read for the season, so they what our Salesforce gets behind and votes. And this one just blew me away. Like all the petty things that she does just to kind of nag at them, but really it kind of breaks them down in ways. It's fun.
She reminds me of like coworkers I've had who are like really focused and intent, and then can get a little petty with the data. And so she's very real. She's likably flawed. And I love a likably flawed character. What else am I? And I read Don Winslow's Broken during the quarantine and loved that. I didn't know if I would like this as much as I liked The Force, because I'm not usually a fan of novellas and short stories, but I love this. And I think I ate this up an entire weekend. And it's a great starter for folks who have never read Don Winslow before, because it introduces you to some characters and side stories. It also is, it's a love letter to fans of Don Winslow, because he brings back a lot of characters that you've never seen since, like Bobby Z, and he brings back Frankie Machine, and that was a real twist for me. And when he showed up, I was like, "What? I had no idea." And then there's some new stories in this book, and someone should turn The Border into a movie, because that one's really powerful about the kind of wonderful, flawed, good guy that Don Winslow writes so well, who does the right thing, even if he's in a business where people aren't doing good things. So that was a lot of fun. I loved reading that. And
we had him on at one of our very first door to doors. Remember, Katie? Yeah.
Yes, I signed in for that one.
I know you did. God, that feels so long ago. But
March.
I know, right? Good God. But with the director of publicity, Sharon Rosenblum, it was really interesting to listen to him talk. He's a lovely man.
I've just been blathering and blathering. See what happens? You give me a camera, Virginia?
No, it's fabulous. Are you kidding me? You can do such a better job than we can because we just sit back and listen to you, and you're so wonderful.
I have to say thank you for sending me the Ivy Pagoda. And that one is next on my list because I loved Visitation Street so much. And I will admit that part of the reason I read Visitation Street is because Dennis Lehane told me to. And I read what Dennis Lehane tells me to read. And he loved Visitation Street. And I'm so looking forward to sinking into these women. So this is one that I'm not letting leave. I still have this one in print. So this one's coming home in my bag tonight when I leave the office.
Yeah, that Visitation Street was amazing. And this is really interesting because it's there's a serial killer at the center of this story, but it's really how it's not about him. It's about them. It's about these women. And we had Ivy Pagoda on Door to Door, and
I'm gonna go back and look for that one then.
yeah, it's very interesting because she said something funny. I'm probably paraphrasing, but she said she didn't want to make it about him. She didn't want to make it about the serial killer. That was unimportant to her, as far as she said that serial killers are boring. And I thought that should be a t-shirt because she said, so what? I mean, not so what, so they kill people, but like that's sort of their calling card. The more interesting thing is how it affects other people. And I thought that was just, so smart. So I don't know, just very, very thoughtful, very smart. And she really gets the voices of these characters so perfectly. She's such a great writer.
Yes, she is. So well, thank you for more sell on that one. So because I think she's right. That would make a great t-shirt. Serial killers are boring.
Yeah.
I want to know, or rather, I've read enough now that it's more interesting to me to see how what they do affects so many other people, these different characters. And yeah, how many times can we figure out, do we read like, oh, bad childhood or something terrible or just plain crazy?
Right. It's a very different approach and it's very effective. So
cool.
Wait to hear what you have to say about that one.
This read.
Now, let's see. We have people who are, there's just so much love for you. There's JD Cargan says, I had a KCPL library card when I lived in Missouri. Great library system. Catherine Healy is now looking forward to reading the Ivy Pagoda. Your buddy Greg Windsor says that he loves you.
Back at you. Greg is my Tony Stark. Greg is my Iron Man.
He's pretty cool. He says you're the best, and you are. Now let's thank you for that. So 3:00 BEA Force of Habit Book Expo is going online. Today is the day of library programming. And so far, there have been several wonderful programs, including a buzz from publishers. Now, Katie, what's happening at 3:00? Do tell.
At 3:00, I will be Nick Fury to a panel of marvelous superhero librarians, and we are doing a program called A Novel Reopening, Reader's Advisory After Coronavirus. So look for Stephanie Anderson and Veranda Pitchford, our buddy Greg Windsor, Rebecca Vanook, and David Wright. We only get 45 minutes, folks, but we're going to start to tackle what does Reader's Advisory look like for us now, and what do we think it's going to look like after? We know what it looked like before. So this is where I leave you.
I'm very much looking forward to that. I mean, it's been really interesting listening to panelists talking about before, during, and after. And after just sounds like a very different scene.
Yeah, we live in interesting times.
But also, I mean, some of the takeaways are that maybe some changes are afoot and it's not altogether bad.
No, I don't think it's bad. And as long as we remember that libraries are about connections and Reader's Advisory does that very well, that we will get through this. I mean, and we will get through this, but we'll get through this maybe a little bit better as long as we strengthen our connections and remember that that's what drives us as humans, is that we need to connect, and we can connect through reading and watching and listening.
Well, we love connecting with you, Miss Katie Stover. Thank you. And I mean, you say it says everything about you that you know the one patron that you know of who needs connection by picking up the phone and calling that person, and you do that, says everything about you. You are absolutely wonderful, and I adore you. We all adore you. We adore working for you. Wendy Wilson Bartlett, by the way, from Cuyahoga says, "Hey, Katie, happy National Redhead Day."
I missed it. Woo! Well, I didn't miss it. I'm here today, but thanks, Wendy. Okay. Mwah. I love you guys too. This has been so much fun. Have a great half hour, and I will check the rest of the half hour on your Facebook page.
Okay, we'll be there. And thank you again so much. And good luck at 3 o'clock. We'll be watching.
Thanks.
Okay, take good care. Stay well. We're staying on, everyone. So if you want to hang out, Chris and Lainey and I are still talking about books, right?
Mundo.
Yes, yes. And I will try and be less verbose than I was this morning at the buzz.
In your whole 3 minutes.
A whole 3 minutes. She's wonderful, and we love her. And we love all of you for listening in. And 3 o'clock, well, I'm definitely hopping over back to the Book Expo Facebook page. Anybody can watch it, so you should learn a lot. It's really interesting. So we want to talk about some stuff that, to Katie's point, stuff that's coming out, but stuff that's already out, and ebooks and digital audio. It's all happening right now. So you want to go around, talk a little bit. We have a half an hour, a little bit less.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, let's do it.
You
Who wants to lead us off? I'll go, I guess.
lead us
Yeah,
off.
I'll go. Okay, why not? All
Picture?
right, let's see here.
Wait a minute.
Oh, we lead with a picture? Is that?
I think we should. We said we would. It's
All right, so yeah, it's show and tell. Everyone watching, I hope you know it's show and tell and book buzz, a delightful combo. So my first show and tell is just a picture that my lovely aunt sent to me. I think this was a birthday. This is me getting my first cheese head. Those are my siblings, Casey and Ian, behind me. And that's me getting with my new cheesehead hat, and I think a new baseball glove that I was really excited about.
Oh, God.
I like the combo.
Yeah, they naturally go together. Like,
What did you say? You like the what?
The combo of cheese and a mitt.
I loved gloves growing up. They made me feel like, ironically enough, like a superhero for some reason. So I had this thing with gloves.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
And
pretty
you can
good.
catch anything that's coming at you.
Yeah, there you go. It's a batting glove more so it's like extra grip for my bat. I wasn't very good, but I liked all the equipment. So, and I'm pairing that with a book that's going on sale next Tuesday, The Guest List by Lucy Foley. Some of you may have heard me buzz about this book before, but I'm obsessed with it because I love a good twist on Agatha Christie. Lucy Foley wrote The Hunting Party, which I also read and adored. I think this just ups Beyonce like in every single way. Like it's just so good. It takes place on a remote island off the coast, I think, of Scotland. A bunch of not so likable people coming together who don't really want to be together, but it's a high profile wedding. Someone ends up dead. You don't know who until the end, and you get all these different viewpoints of these various wedding guests who all are so twisted and have all these dark secrets, and it just builds and builds and builds, and you'll guess and guess and guess and be wrong and wrong and wrong. It's so much fun. I love it. It's going on sale June 2nd, so it was a library reads pick, so many of you already know how good this book is. You voted for it, but now you can get your shiny new copy on June 2nd. So that's a guest list. Lucy Foley.
Nice.
Love it.
Lainey, what you got?
So I sent Chris, my baby, some photos. Let's see. Chris, don't do the one just of me without like, we can do them all. I sent 3.
You looking
God, so
sassy?
funny.
You want the
Yes.
sassy? You want the sassy
Yes.
photo?
If you had any guess as to how I was as a child, this is it.
Oh my God, Lainey.
This is pretty much me in a nutshell. Yeah, I was pulling the strings in that photo, I guess. So I, if we're pairing books, I don't know how to put this with this next one. But I want to talk about Exciting Times. I've talked about it before, but I love this one. Well, she's a millennial, and it's a perfect millennial story, and I am. So there you go. I connected it that way. But yeah, it's a woman who is an expat from Ireland, and she's going to Hong Kong to work, as she's going to be a teacher. And when she gets there, she meets this man who's a banker who kind of doesn't care about her except for that she's around. And so they start seeing each other, and she moves in with him. And then he goes away for work. And another woman who's from Hong Kong originally but studied abroad, she meets her, and she starts thinking maybe she likes her and likes him way more than this other guy that she kind of doesn't know why she likes him so much. She has to figure it out. So she's torn between these two people, a little bit of obligation and a little bit of love. And so how is this going to work out? And she's just trying to find herself. She feels kind of lost in a new country where she doesn't really feel like she belonged in her country. And so there's a little bit of Brexit in there and inner politics in that way. But it's just such a beautiful read. And I think it really captures, like I said, the millennial spirit, this feeling, a little existential dread of like, what do I do? And figuring it out on your own. So it's beautiful. Please read it if you have a chance. And there's all this love for it coming in. I mean, I was just looking through it. Got all of these roundups for like new summer reading lists for Lit Hub, Refinery 29, Pop Sugar, Hopper's Bazaar. I could go on. It was reviewed by all of these people. It's kind of taken off in Ireland as well, where the author is from, Nisha Dolan. And yeah, you wouldn't think it's Nisha, but it's Nisha. And yeah, that one's a really great read. I hope you picked it up.
I have to leave my chair for a second. My brand new chair. Talk amongst yourselves.
Oh, someone said, Catherine Healy, I listened to a great interview with Nisha Dolan for the Irish Times women's podcast recently. Sounds like a great story. Yeah, I thank you for telling me. I'll have to listen to that. You know, I love a good podcast. Yeah.
Happy? We good? All right.
Good. What do you have?
I got this baby picture. Can you see that?
Oh,
Look at that great big head.
so cute.
Look at that.
Those eyes.
Wah, wah. Look,
Oh.
look at that. I'm in a dress. You know this is old. So this is my head. Look at that big forehead. Nothing's changed.
That's adorable.
What?
That's adorable. It's
I don't
stinking
even have
adorable.
a book to compare to marry with that. Maybe I'll marry. Well, I know what I'll do. I'll tell you about the Marlo Thomas, Phil Donahue book called What Makes a Marriage Last. My parents had a lovely long marriage, and out of that, boom, 3 others, but you know, they got it right on the 4th one. Anyway, they're not watching. All right, What Makes a Marriage Last by Marlo Thomas and Phil Donahue. So this book went on sale May 5th, and it's so good. It is, they have gone around and interviewed couples from various walks of life, celebrities and politicians and writers, and they have the people who have these really long, successful marriages, and they sat down and talked to them all about what's the key. And everybody has a different key. Everybody has a different answer. Everybody has you know, they have their own sort of rules that they live by. Marlo Thomas and Phil Donahue married 40, just celebrated their 40th wedding anniversary. So they know what they're doing. Kirkus says, warm-hearted testimony to enduring relationships. The author's disarming ebullience makes them endearing interviewers. They were on the Ellen show. This was hilarious. So they were on the Ellen show being interviewed, and Ellen is, of course, working from home. And so she's in this beautiful, you know, place that she lives in California. And behind her as a shtick, she's got her fellow Andy. He works for her, and he's sitting behind them. He's sitting behind Ellen while she's interviewing Marlo and Phil about, you know, marriages and stuff. And Andy, the guy who's on Ellen's show, just sitting in the background, sneezed and he fell over backwards. And it was one of the funniest things I ever saw, because Marlo and Phil are like, what's happening to Andy? Anyway, it was really funny. Back to the book. So in addition to Marlo and Phil talking about everything that they went through and how they kept their marriage going, they profiled a lot of people: Gloria and Emilio Estefan, Michael J. Fox and Tracy Pollan, and they've certainly had their, they've had their, I mean, they've all had their, every marriage has something, but they talk about really what, you know, hurdles they have faced. Joanna and Chip Gaines, Elton John and David Furnish, Lily Tomlin and Jane Wagner. So they're all over the place. And it's practical advice. It's hard-won wisdom for couples of all ages. That says they navigate hard times. They celebrate triumphs. They balance work and play. They talk about, like, from the first spark when they just, you know, they met each other, all these couples met and fell in love, and then how did they keep that going? I have a really cool website, whatmakesamarriagelast.com. So it gives you everybody that they talk to, and also where they'll be next. Obviously doing everything virtually right now, but it's a very neat book. So this is for couples of every age and stage. What makes a marriage last? Boom. What? What's happening?
You know what? Lots of love for your headshot.
Oh, really?
Let's see. Yes, Jane Jorgensen says, could tell that was you even if you hadn't told us. Makes sense. The Gerber baby, says Wendy Bartlett. Becca Worthington, your baby picture is amazing, in all caps. So.
Oh my God.
So
Maureen Roberts says, my mother used to have to cut the backs of the bonnets to fit them on my head. Maureen, we got to talk later. Poof. All right, what else we got, you guys?
Let's see. I'll talk about a book and share something. Let's see.
All right.
What do I have? Oh, okay. So this is the elephant that I made way back when. I don't remember.
Oh,
Yeah. So,
how old were you? Like 25?
Yeah. This was my master's project in art school. So.
Wait, hold it up to the camera, Chris. Hold it up. Let's see.
Let's see.
Oh,
Yeah. Oh, wait. There he is. He
Very
lost
nice.
his ears a few times. Yeah.
His name is Elephant.
Oh, sorry.
Elephant.
Missed Elephant.
The elephant. So yeah, that was my art. Oh, it's actually a penny bag. I guess you'd have to smash it to. No, there's nothing inside
There's
it.
nothing in it?
There.
No, there's nothing in it.
All right.
Yeah, so that's that. This,
Okay.
Oh, if you want to see, I used to have a swoop haircut in high school.
Let's see,
This is
let's
my
see.
lacrosse picture.
Wait, hold
let's
it up
see.
really close. Oh
Let's
my
see.
God.
There we go. There's my
Swoop.
swoop. Stylish swoop. It was the mid 2000s, so you know that's how it went. And I'm gonna pair that with a book that I really, really love, of course, or else we wouldn't be talking about it. The Distant Dead by Heather Young, which is going on sale 2 Tuesdays from now. So you have Lucy Foley next Tuesday, and then the Tuesday following, you can go get Heather Young's The Distant Dead. There it is. So this is kind of a literary thriller. It's very character driven. She wrote The Lost Girls. She's an award-winning author. I just love this book. It has such a great sense of place. It's a small Nevada town full of kind of like have-nots essentially. And you have this outsider, this math teacher who comes into town. He's well-educated. He's kind of shy. No one really knows what his past is about. But then one day, this burning body is found kind of on the outskirts of this town, and it's discovered to be this math teacher that people didn't really know that much about. But one person who did know him pretty well is this little sixth grader, this lonely sixth grader who befriended him. The math teacher had lunch with him, and the sixth grader has a really hard life. He lives with his two uncles, and he doesn't have, he's very poor, but he knows something. So you get different characters. You get another teacher, you get the sixth grader himself, you get a local firefighter, but it's just this kind of like kaleidoscopic vision of this small town and all the lives involved. It's a thriller. It's really, it is a mystery at its core what happened to this teacher, but it's also, again, just this really intimate look at these characters that just tug at your heart. This sixth grader is just, everyone's so well written. The Weight of an Infinite Sky by Carrie Lasore, that's a comp for this book. I loved it. Bunch of starred reviews. It's just so good. So good. So great sense of place. The sense of place kind of reminded me of Willie Vlaughton, honestly, just kind of like, people on the edge, just wonderful. I loved it. So that's on sale June 9th, which is 2 Tuesdays from now. So The Distant Dead. That's my book.
Love that book too. 2 thumbs up.
So good.
Before I show my next book, I found something in my room when I was getting ready for this, and it's like the 90s time capsule. You ready? It's a videotape that you can record whatever you want, but what they had recorded on it, an episode of Frasier. And it just really makes me happy. I actually have one that I can watch it on. I should try to watch it later.
Oh my God, that is so funny.
Frasier always bummed me out when it came on. I never wanted to watch it. I never took to it.
Why?
I don't know. It was so like, maybe I was just too young.
Cheers was better.
Yeah, I think I watched the intro for Cheers because it warmed me up. And then, I don't know, it just
Well, I got a video if you want to try it again.
Yeah, mail it over to me, please. Yeah.
Just pull the tape out of it and hold it up to the light.
It just made me smile when I walked past it.
So cute.
Okay,
Yeah.
so next I want to talk about The Boys Club by Erica Katz. And you can see Erica at Day of Dialogue. She's going to be speaking on a panel. But this book was one of my favorites that I've read this season. It's super fun and it's not a thriller, but it reads with that pacing. You need to know what's going to happen next. There's like this dread of what lies beneath this corporate structure that she works for. So it's a debut novel, and it's been described as Sweet Bitter Meets the Firm. And it's a BuzzFeed Most Anticipated Book of 2020 and a Cosmo Best Summer Read of 2020. So it's getting a lot of dues as well, much needed. And so in this story, we have a woman who takes a job for a corporate law firm in New York City. And so she moves there with her boyfriend, who doesn't really contribute much to the relationship, job, money, monetarily. And as she takes on this really high profile job, she is just working constantly. She's always at the office. There's always something going on. She's kind of doing the grunt work. But then the opposite of that, they're inviting her to all of these parties, and there's just crazy things going on. She's keeping secrets for higher ups. She's involved in some things she didn't even mean to get involved with. People are passing around things at parties. And so she lives this very dual lifestyle, trying to figure out where she belongs in it, if she wants to be, her whole life is this, or if she wants to be with her boyfriend. And so a lot of tension there, as you would expect. But it's really cool in a grander scheme, because it's talking about like toxic workplaces, not just, because people are sexist or racist, etc., but because it's, what is too much work? What is separating your life from your work? And how do you make those boundaries? And so it's a really fun read. And it comes out, you have a little bit, it comes out in August 4th, but not too long. And this one is a fun read. It's a fun summer read.
All right. I have to leave again. I'll be right back.
How's the weather there, Lainey?
Weather is nice. Not that I've been outside today, but it's a little hot in the sip, and it was. I stayed outside all weekend, which was nice. What about you?
Yeah, it's nice. It's hot. I got a little bit of a tan.
It's not like
so
we're
sure.
live. Okay.
No, we're not live. We're just talking about the weather.
That was
Yeah.
the weather report. On to you, Virginia.
This I have blown up this size and it's on my refrigerator. Nothing's changed. I wish I had a bow like that for my hair right now. But yeah, that's on my fridge. I think that was left over from a birthday party, big birthday party, and it's been there ever since. I have no issue with it on the refrigerator. Anyway, the book that I will pair with that has nothing to do with the picture, but everything to do with how much I love this book, how much I love this author, how much I love this mini series. Wally Lamb's book, I Know This Much Is True. If you haven't read it, oh, do yourselves a favor. I believe it was 1998 that it came out. And it is now being made into a mini series. If you have HBO or you know somebody who has HBO, become their best friend, because you should watch this because it's really good. I think it's only 6 episodes. It is about identical twins, Dominic and Thomas Birdsey, and one of them is diagnosed with schizophrenia. It is so powerful, and yeah, I read this book when it first came out. I'm sure, as many of you know, I'm a big Wally Lamb fan. I've read all of his books, and I just think he's a genius. And this is a story about Dominic and Thomas Birdsey, and Dominic has to take care of Thomas. And it shows them through their young lives, and as they grow older, you see that something's not quite right. And it's you know what? It's just so, it's such a sucker punch. It's just so powerful, and so this series, Mark Ruffalo plays both boys, Dominic and well, they're as grown men. He plays Dominic and Thomas. Boy, oh boy, is this something else. If you can see it, you should, and then go back and watch this movie, because it is it's unbelievable, really, how he captures these characters that are so. This is a big book, it's a long book, but it needs to be. You know, sometimes books are like, why are they this long? This needs to be that long, so that you get the whole picture of how disturbed Thomas is, but how passionately he believes in whatever is in his mind, and how Dominic is trying to save him. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant, and powerful, and sad, and heartwarming, and a brother's love like you've never seen. So that is I Know This Much Is True by Wally Lamb. I'll say no more. It's so great. Who's next? We have 10 minutes.
So one quick round, and then we can all watch Katie on her book expo panel.
Beautiful.
I'm going to talk about 9 Shiny Objects by Brian Castleberry. Let me share the jacket here. This is a day, if you can see it. All right, great. So this is a debut novel coming June 30th. So what, 4 Tuesdays from now, since we're cataloging by Tuesdays. And it's kind of a sweeping American literary epic. It starts in 1947, and you follow this grifter who's trying to kind of escape his life from Chicago. He's heading west. And in the meantime, there's this news report about these 7 shiny objects that were seen hovering over Nevada. And, you know, this is a time of upheaval. People are looking for meaning in their lives. And for whatever reason, these lights just set something off. They set something off for this grifter. They set things off for a variety of cast of characters. And so you get this kind of like sweeping look at what, this isn't an alien novel, but it's about what happens when people find something that they think can give their lives meaning. So you follow him as he gets involved with this new community called the Seekers, which are kind of like creating a new society without race divisions or ethnicity or sexuality. And then you kind of like follow this group. There's this act of violence that takes place within their community. And then you see through the various members' eyes over time how they take their experiences and how it impacts how they see this new America that they're living in. Great reviews from Kirkus, memorable characters, and surprising engaging story. Blurbs from Chelsea Johnson, who we love, author of Stray City, Jenny Awful, amongst many others. So I love this book. I just think it's such a daring, like ambitious book, but the language is so fluid and sharp, and the characters are really just stunning. I loved it. So again, June 30th, that's 9 Shiny Objects by Brian Castleberry. That's my last book.
Hey,
Here's me with the trophy. So there you go.
wait, hold on. Oh,
So
Hold
I
it
don't know
close
if
so
you
we
can
can
see
see
it.
your face.
There we go. There I am with a bowl cut. The various
Oh.
hairstyles of my life, they really
Happy-
shift all over the
Happy
place.
National
So,
Redhead Day.
yeah, good to be here. Good to be alive. This is me with bleached hair when I tried bleaching my hair. I thought it would be cool. I don't know if it's like the M&M thing. It doesn't really look any different at all, but I tried bleaching my hair.
oh my goodness,
So.
you really brought the receipts for these photos, and I'm really
Yeah. My mom just dropped a giant box of them off at the table. I'm like, thanks, Mom.
We love your mom.
I
Love
have
you, Mom.
two, but I'm gonna make you wait until after tell you about my last book because they're worth the wait. So I want to talk about Neon Girls last, just to bring it to your radar if it wasn't already. It comes out pretty quickly, June 9th. So you have, I don't know, Chris, how many Tuesdays, how we're measuring, but not very long. And so this is a true story. And if you're like me, you liked Hustlers, the movie with J-Lo and I can't think of her name right now, Constance Wu, I believe. This is kind of a good, if you've seen that and you want to know more about this industry and just dive into someone's life that is within this in this lifestyle, this is great for you. So it's by Jennifer Worley. And so Ginny was in grad school in San Francisco, and so she was going to take a break and kind of started stripping on the side. But then as her kind of safe haven where she was kind of protected within this group and she became a family with these people, it started being broken down because the management put a lot of pressure to like maybe some sketchy things, some video cameras, one-way mirrors, things that they were not comfortable with and was not for their own safety. And so she eventually organized a union, the first strippers union ever. And the place she stripped at was called the Lusty Lady, and that became just a site of revolution for people who have a voice, maybe when they don't always have a voice, and to stand up for rights when they have them as well. So this is a really cool story, and I think you're going to want to learn all about this. I love learning something new, and I think she does such a great job showing this. So Neon Girls, June 9th. Yes, June 9th. And you'll want to check it out. Should I show a baby picture or two?
Yeah.
So, Chris, I sent you two. I was a little background. I was known, I've told these guys, and I showed them last week. My parents were big on making my my Halloween costumes, and I finally found two pictures of my favorite ones, and so I sent them. And now you can enjoy. I might regret showing you all these, but
Which one do you want to start with, Lainey? Well, we don't want to
go for
ruin
it.
the
Pick whichever.
Okay, here we go.
So I was a die. I was gonna be a pair of dice, but my friend bailed on us.
Oh,
And
no.
so I was the one at the top with the hat.
Oh my God.
The
so
other one.
cute. Where's
It
the
was
other
hard
one?
to get candy with that box. And then the second one, I was a bug zapper. I had glow sticks on me, and my dad built me this weird thing. I don't know. So you're welcome. Halloween,
God.
I dominated most years.
I would vote for you.
Thank you.
You
I
will.
think that's the thing about Halloween costumes for kids. They're often as much for the parents as they are for the kids. Probably more so, in fact. Like the
My
project,
mom, I
the
told her
making
I showed
it.
you. She's like, I was devastated when you didn't want us to make them anymore.
Oh my God, that's so funny. All right. I actually don't have any more pictures to show you. So, I probably do somewhere, but I don't know. It was my bright idea to do this. And now, of course, I'm like, I don't have any. What else is new? But I could go find one more, which is kind of funny. But I'm going to tell you, it's probably more important than I tell you about another book. The Dutch House by Ann Patchett. Why am I telling you about this book since you all know about this book? But what I think is very important to know is that this was a finalist for the fiction category for the Pulitzer, which is not too shabby. This book has won so many critical acclaim, wonderful raves, love. It's a fabulous story. Goes for five decades, and it's about this family who comes from nothing, makes money, lives in this beautiful home in the outskirts of Pennsylvania and Philadelphia, suburbs of Philadelphia, in this beautiful home that they call the Dutch House. And when the father remarries, his children are edged out and back into the world from whence they came. And all they have is each other. And so this is really a story of how much they depend on each other. He's an indulged brother, she's overprotective, and it's really about inheritance, love, and forgiveness, and also memory. What do we remember? Revisionist history, a lot of that. It's a very, very powerful book. Everybody that we've given it to just has nothing but praise for it. And as I say, to be a finalist for the Pulitzer is Ann Patchett is amazing. She was at the Public Library Association conference in February down in Nashville, which feels like a lifetime ago. And of course, she owns Parnassus Bookstore and is the author of many books. And she's just a lovely person and brilliant, brilliant writer. So that's my last book. These are books that we know that you know about, but maybe your patrons don't. And if you're looking to fill some holes in ebooks and audio. So here's some stuff that's out, stuff that's about to come out. Of course, we've told you about our fall list and so many highlights from there. So we just wanted to touch base and show you some silly pictures of us and tell you that we love you and hear from Kaite Stover, who we love, who's going to be talking in a minute at Book Expo. So I think we're going to say goodbye and log on to Book Expo. Go to their Facebook page and you can hear this panel. I highly recommend this because all those people who are going to be in this panel, 3 o'clock, we know and love, and they're all smarty pants of the world. So let's hear what they have to say about Reader's Advisory in this age and pre-post coronavirus. Let's find out what they have to say. So thank you, all of you, so much. We will not have a door-to-door on Thursday because of Library Journal's Day of Dialogue, but we'll be back next Tuesday, June 2nd, with Sue Miller, the author of Monogamy, which you will not want to miss. It is a fabulous, fabulous book. So with that, I say, so long, fellow Library Love Fest folks.
I do.
Farewell. Bye, y'all.
Toodles.